I want to describe for people what it is like in Minnesota right now for those who don't live here, for my friends, family, loved ones, but people who are just coming across this video. I am a suburban state senator. I live in Apple Valley. It is a suburb. I do not live in Minneapolis. This is not something that's just happening in Minneapolis. This federal paramilitary invasion and occupation is happening in communities across the state. So let's start here. ICE is not looking for specific people at specific addresses. They do not have like a sheet of paper that gives them a name and an address and like a judicial warrant to go and find that person. They just drive around looking for kidnappings of opportunity. And what I mean by that is they, like in communities like mine, they sit and idle their cars and wait for Black, brown, or Asian people to be out walking their dog, going into the gas station, taking out their trash, sitting with their kid at the bus stop, and they will swarm that person, kidnap them, and take them away. They drive around with license plate readers and they look for people with Hispanic sounding last names, pull them over and snatch them and take them away. Again, these aren't specific people that they're looking for and they just happen to come across them at the bus stop or at the Burger King. They are just grabbing people with Hispanic last names or who are Black, brown, and Asian and taking them away. Most of the people that they are taking are U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, or people who have lawful status in this country of some sort, whether it's like a work permit or social security number, they're a refugee or asylee. Like these are people who are documented and allowed to be in this country. They have broken no laws, including the laws around lawful entry into this country. Their only crime is being Black, brown, or Asian and near an ICE agent at any given random time. Just going about our daily lives, like in my community, I'll be driving and I will just see abandoned cars on highways and neighborhood streets. Sometimes the doors are still open and the car is still running. You will just come across this like at any random time in any random place. You could be in line at Burger King to get food and watch ICE like snatch a worker on the way into work. You can be at a restaurant and all of a sudden like 14 ICE agents come in and just kidnap every single worker who works in that restaurant. Like this is just like right in front of your face. This can happen anywhere at any time. There is no place that we are assured in our community that we can go where we will not witness one of these violent kidnappings. Target, the grocery store, driving my daughter to swim lessons, driving to church, going to work. There is just no place that this isn't happening, and it is happening all the time, every single day, multiple times a day. You will get texts from, your coworkers or friends or like family members about someone that they know or they're related to or they work with that was taken. And this happens to every single person, or you'll just overhear it in random conversation. ICE sets up checkpoints in certain neighborhoods and looks at every single person's papers as they leave or enter the neighborhood. And I really want to note here that most people cannot prove their citizenship status at a moment's notice. A majority of Minnesotans do not have passports. A majority of people do not carry around the birth certificates. Lots of people don't even know where their birth certificates are. Being able to prove your immigration status or your like citizenship status on the way to work is something most people do not have the ability to do at the drop of a hat. ICE also goes door to door in neighborhoods, so they'll just like knock on doors or in apartments, hoping that a Black, brown, or Asian person will open the door, and then they'll just take that person. Schools have had to close because ICE shows up and pepper sprays parents and kids, or they like circle the block or target bus stops or target kids who are walking to school. Right now, there are districts that are calling families and saying your kids should learn at home and do online school instead of coming to school because ICE has targeted schools and learning communities for their kidnappings. There are kids who come home to empty houses and are there for hours at a time without a guardian or an adult there because their parents have been stolen at some point during the workday. When these kidnappings happen in front of other observers, these parents that are being kidnapped will yell out their full name and the school that their children go to in hopes that somebody will call that school and alert the administration so that their kid doesn't go home to find no one. They circle Spanish immersion daycares, and now there's parents who have to like sit in the parking lots to watch over their kids and the teachers who work at that school. I hope I'm really conveying this, but like ICE is ubiquitous. They are everywhere. I see them 1, 3, 7 times a day in my own community just going about my daily life. There are more federal agents in Minnesota than there are local law enforcement from the 10 largest police forces combined. Here's how Minnesotans have come together to respond. Regular people who have never been to a protest, people who have never participated in an economic strike, or people who are like rare voters have been activated in ways that are incredible. Grandparents carry whistles around in their cars because if they're going about their daily life and they see ICE, they can blow their whistles and warn the surrounding communities. Parents patrol bus stops and like form safety circles around schools to make sure that there's safe entry and exit and that they can get home safe. There's been a massive food donation and delivery infrastructure stood up, and we have organized rides to school and to work for people. There are people literally taking families into their homes. Like, people are fleeing their homes and then living with acquaintances or strangers for safety. So many kids are not going to school right now. Businesses are closing either because their workers all got taken, or they're too scared to come to work, or their customer base is completely gone. They won't go outside of their house. 6-month-old babies have been tear gassed because their parents were driving in their own neighborhood. There may be people outside of Minnesota who are thinking, when this comes to my state, I'm white, or I'm a US citizen, or I live in a suburb or a rural area or a neighborhood with few or no immigrants, and like, this is something I won't experience or I won't see. I'm here to dispel that myth for you. That is not the case. The ubiquitousness, the violent force and presence that ICE and DHS is in our communities is completely unavoidable, and none of the things I just mentioned will protect you from this federal invasion of a paramilitary. There are absolutely things I'm not saying or things I'm forgetting. I'm sharing this from my personal experience, and the experiences are different from across the state, but it is coming to other states. Minnesota is the test case. This is not like a place where they were like, oh, just JK. This will come to other states. Organize your communities now. Get with your people now. And also support Minnesota and help us stop this before it spreads. Standwithminnesota.com is a place to go if you want to support organizations in Minnesota who are helping do this work. But I just need people to know this is not a Minneapolis thing. And the idea that like this is just a thing that's happening like in a few neighborhoods, like a few times a week, or just like, occasionally. No, it is everywhere, every single day. And there is literally nowhere you can go where you can be assured that you will not witness some sort of violent kidnapping or detainment, or you will not yourself be involved in it, even if you're just going about your daily life and have no intention of engaging at all in any observing or documenting or anything at all. This just runs up on you. They roll up on you in your community. It is so dangerous. It is so omnipresent. And I want people to be prepared.